I almost thought we were going to get a repeat of Joselines Cabaret reunion because these girls couldn't even get on the stage without arguing. Welcome back to Damien After Dark. If you are new here, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you also hit the like button and comment to join the conversation, and so we can make sure that my channel gets shared, gets out there, and we can build a community here. I'm so glad you guys are here. I appreciate you watching. This is the Baddies South reunion part 1 review and recap, and we're gonna go ahead and get right into things. Okay, so this episode started out, of course, like most Zeus reunions do. And I would say most reunions in reality TV in general, they kind of start out in dressing rooms a lot. Now, what I will say with Zeus is they spend too much time in the dressing rooms. You can tell they try to prolong it so they can keep subscribers for a few more weeks. Just keep them there, keep them there. That's the way it feels for me, at least. So, you know, we get some filler of the girls in the dressing room talking about different issues that they had during the season, talking about some of the different beefs that they currently have with some of the other girls. There's been a lot of drama that's happened while the show is airing. A lot of the girls have been going back and forth on social media, so they're talking about those things. Natalie says there's been a lot of confessional gangsters this season. I mean, I think everybody was in the confessional talking shit, so we really can't blame that on one person. Natalie's in the dressing room with Scotty, and she's going back and forth with Scotty about her frustrations, and then Rolly and Slim are in another dressing room, and they're kind of talking about their situation. So Natalie's talking shit about Rolly to Scotty, and Rolly's talking shit about Natalie to Slim in the dressing room. Natalie says it's giving that I should just fire them both and not have them back next season. And then here comes Scotty. Oh, is that what it's giving? Is that what it? Because we know Scotty gonna ride Natalie's coattails. Now watch what I'm saying. Natalie's gonna do Scotty wrong. Natalie's gonna fuck Scotty over if she's on the next season of Baddies. This is my prediction. And Scotty's gonna pull that, I don't know why Natalie's doing this to me. I thought we were friends. Now Scotty. Anyway, so back to Natalie saying I should just fire them both and I won't have either of them back next season. Like, this is why I have said before, Natalie, please don't do next season. Please do not be a cast member for Baddies Season 3, because I don't know how many episodes I can sit through you doing the same shit that you've been doing for the last 13 years. Like, don't get me wrong, I've always enjoyed Natalie as a reality TV personality. I enjoyed the Bad Girls Club Natalie, the edited Natalie. The Natalie on Zeus is just, I guess because we get to see, like, it's like an unedited Natalie. And it's just not so fun. It's always just screaming. It's the same old tricks that she does all the time. And then with her saying, I should just fire them both. Like, that's why you don't need to be the talent. If you have that much power that you can fire other cast members, you do not need to be on the show. It does not make the show interesting. It does not make it entertaining. And there's not a level playing field when it comes to the cast members, because you're going to have certain cast members, Scotty, who are going to be kind of scared to cross you. Now, I get Scotty was already friends with Natalie, but you can't tell me that Scotty is never going to speak up or speak her mind to Natalie, because she's probably going to be afraid to. People want to. Why do you think Sarah was, loved being friends with Natalie? J-Lo was so upset when her and Natalie fell out. Why do these people run up under Natalie so much? Because whether you like her or you don't, she's got some leverage and some power in this game. She's the only bad girl who's kept this shit going. She knows what she's doing. She took these different ideas to networks, and when she kept getting no's and no's and no's, Zeus picked it up, and now she's probably making some really fucking good money being the creator of this show. But I wish she would just stick to being the creator, stick to being the executive producer. We don't need to see you doing what you're doing. Natalie says this is her shit, and these girls are going to come in here. These girls are not going to come in here and say, fuck you, bitch, fuck you, bitch, fuck you, bitch. Then go behind the camera, Natalie. She's upset that these girls have been dogging her and putting their hands on her. What do you expect? You're a cast member of this show. Did you think that everybody was going to come in and just bow down and, walk on eggshells around you? No, you're fair game. I mean, I just don't get what she's so upset about. You can't have your cake and eat it too. I've got that in my notes, and that sums it all up. You can't have your cake, Natalie, and eat it too. Which one do you want to be? Do you want to be the on-air talent, or do you want to be the producer? You could do both, but you don't know how to balance both. I like it personally better when my producers stay behind the camera. I don't like when my producers get in front of the camera. It just makes it difficult. Natalie says, just because I'm at the top doesn't mean you have to come for me. The ego. It's the ego for me. Like, it's the ego. Rolly said Natalie doesn't own her. Zeus Network owns her. And I was surprised to hear that. I know what she meant. She was pretty much saying, like, Zeus owns this show, not Natalie. But at first when I heard it, I'm like, girl, you should have said nobody owns you. Zeus don't own you. Like, Zeus does not own you, Rolly. Don't give them that much power. Don't give them the rights to your soul. So Scotty, Bree, and Ann, or should I say Bianca, are in a dressing room talking, and Ann says that Bianca is her real name, and she goes by that now because when she watched the show back, she was like, who the fuck is Ann? And she had so much trauma and PTSD from watching the show back, so her real name is Bianca. And I didn't know that. I thought Ann Moore was her real name, so I guess that's just a stage name that she goes by. So now she wants to go by Bianca, which I have no problem with that, but I think with you wanting to change your name up so quick, I think it's not really good for you or your brand, because we're just now being introduced into Ann Moore. That's who we know. That's who we've been watching the whole time. So now to say, hey, now call me Bianca, it's just kind of confusing. I feel like when anybody does that, it's kind of confusing. Snoop Dogg wanted to be called Snoop Lion at one point, and I'm like, no, you're Snoop. You're Snoop Dogg. You're always been known as Snoop Dogg. That's like, I think Ray J wanted to be called by his, was it Ray J or Bow Wow? One of them wanted to be called by their actual name. It never, if you notice, it never continues on, because people know you how you introduce yourself. And if you change that, it's hard to, I think the only person that's had success with that would be like, and I still like to say Mulatto. Mulatto changed her name to what? Just Lotto or Big Lotto. I think it's sticking and it's working because the name was kind of already the same. But most people don't have success with the name changes. And Rock is telling Jada about how she thinks Natalie does a lot of Hollywood things and is a weirdo. So I sense that Natalie and Rock may have some words on stage. I completely agree with Rock on this one. There's been a lot of stuff that we did not see, that the cameras did not capture, or either they did not air. But Natalie what she's doing is she's playing her producer role up while being a cast member around these girls, which is what she's supposed to do in a way. But what Rock is trying to say is, Natalie will be nice to our face, but behind our back, she's talking shit. When in reality, Natalie's trying to play the happy-go-lucky baddie, but behind the scenes and in her head, she's ghost producing, and she's talking shit, she's making up stuff, she's going behind the girls' backs and saying this and saying that, keeping the drama going. How do y'all think, like, most of this drama that we saw on Baddies South was constructed by Natalie, actually. Whether you saw it on camera or not, she was doing something behind the scenes. And a lot of the girls even said it towards the middle of the season and towards the end. A few of the girls said, Natalie is behind all of this bullshit that we're dealing with. So, but I mean, she is the producer, so. Rock says that Natalie is jealous of her, and I 100% believe that. Do y'all remember? I think it was the episode when Natalie was on the bus, and she said, stop the motherfucking bus, pull the bus over. During that review, I said, I feel like, in a ways, Natalie is a little bit intimidated by Rock, because Rock is the same age Natalie was when Natalie started getting her Bad Girls Club fame, and I think Natalie sees a lot of Rock in her. And also, I feel like she's probably a little bit jealous because Rock is the fan favorite. Well, and she may not be to some of you at home watching, but to a lot of people, Rock is the fan favorite. My brother came in my room the other day. He was here yesterday, and he came in when I was watching Baddies, and he never really watched any Bad Girls Club stuff at all. But he knows who Natalie is because she's been on TV for years. But he saw Rock on TV, and he was like, "That girl's been everywhere. Like, I don't understand why she's everywhere." So, with that being said, Rock, like, if you can't get on your phone without seeing her. So Natalie, I feel like is a little bit threatened and intimidated by that. Some may say no, she's not, but that's just the way I view it and I see it. And I feel like she's just a little bit like, who is this girl who thinks she's gonna come along and take my show? She's gonna take my show. Even though Natalie has said that Rock is coming back for Baddies next season. She also said Scotty's coming back for Baddies next season, for season 3. So we'll see. We'll see. Do y'all want to see anybody from this current cast come on to season 3? Make sure you chime in the comments below. Who do you want to see come back from season 2 onto Baddies season 3? Or do you just want a whole new cast? Y'all see how Natalie posted auditions for Baddies season 3, which is going to be called Baddies West. I wish they would have just called it, Baddies West Coast. I think it just sounds better instead of Baddies West, but I guess they're going to be going all over the West Coast and doing another tour. And it makes me think, is this going to be the new, is this the new premise of the show? Because I feel like at the beginning, the show didn't really have a purpose. But now, maybe they're finding their footing, and I think every season is going to be like a tour or on the road type thing. But I feel like after a while, they're going to run out of places to go unless they start flying around the world. But we'll see. Anne says if one fight breaks out, she's going home because she hates the toxic shit and she wants it to be over. Seems like, from what I gathered from this episode, it seems like Anne is just totally over the bullshit. Seems like she watched herself back and she was disgusted with how she acted. She was over the fights. A lot of them were just sick of it while they were filming the actual show. So by the time they got to the reunion, I think they were just completely over it. We get a scene with Janisha John, which is the host and the owner of Zeus's wife, and Trina, which is the baddest bitch, as she says. The rapper Trina is also the host. We get a scene with them in their trailer together talking, and this is another example of what I mean when I say it's just too much filler. Like, we don't need to see Janisha and Trina talking before the reunion. Girl, how do you feel about how are you feeling about tonight? We already know what she's gonna say. She's anxious, she's excited, she's not, like, we don't need to see that. Move on. Can we just get the reunion? Like, please. I don't know who is writing this shit. I don't know, like, who did y'all notice how Janisha kept saying, this season, the girls had to get to the bag. The girls were chasing. She started doing the same shit that the girls were doing in the confessional. Like, so it made me think, was there a producer who just kept encouraging the girls and the host throughout the season and at the reunion to bring up the bag, chasing the bag? Like, that drove, it wasn't just us, y'all, because if you go on Twitter and TikTok, people are making fun of that all over the internet, talking about how the girls claimed they were getting to the bag when they didn't. Even Janisha John, the host, said the girls were getting to the bag, so they thought they were, but they ended up fighting instead, or something like that. Like, she even said, like, and I get it, they made money from the show, so yes, they did get a bag, but as far as being on the road and making money in each of these cities, I don't think they did unless they made money from these club appearances. And then y'all are splitting that amongst 9 women. So what are y'all making? $250 a piece? $1,000 a piece at most, maybe? I don't know. So finally, after 25 minutes of bullshit, the girls, they get ready to open the door to let the girls walk on stage, and they don't even get on the stage, and they're already backstage fighting. And when I say they, I should say she is already backstage fighting, because all you hear is Natalie and her big ass mouth screaming and hollering, and I'm just like, here we fucking go again. And if y'all notice, Trina already looked like she was over it from the get-go. They called Tamar Braxton originally to do this reunion, but Tamar said hell to the motherfucking no, because that bullshit y'all put me through on last season, no, I'm not coming back for that fucking ratchet ass shit show. So now Trina is dealing with what Tamar dealt with last year by saying, what the fuck? Because look, like, I've never seen a reunion, like the Zeus reunions, they're just not controlled. They're not controlled. Like, I feel like what they should do is tell these people, you get, when y'all start filming the show, do like Bravo does. Here's half of your check. When you finish when you finish the second half of the season, you'll get your other check. And then when you come to the reunion, you'll get a check for that. Put the money where the mouth is, because a lot of times these people say, I'm not coming to the reunion, or they get there and they act a fucking ass, just like on Joselines Cabaret reunion season 3, just like Baddies ATL reunion last year with Sydney and all that bullshit, and just like now what we're getting. They can't even get on the stage without acting a fucking ass, and it's Natalie back there screaming. And I'm just like, what could you possibly be arguing about, Natalie? Natalie, do you do Coca-Cola too? Was you back there sniffling? I'm asking. I'm not saying. I'm just asking, because we as the fans want to know why you are just always fucking hollering. Always. Always fucking yelling. Chill the fuck out, because you have... Natalie Nunn has more energy than any adult I have ever seen in my life. So then we get a scene that cuts away, and it seems like Zeus is still using the same old fucking tricks, just like Natalie, because Sydney Starr shows up yet again. Do y'all realize we've had Sydney Starr? We've had the storyline, the last 5 or 6 episodes has been Sydney Starr popping up. If you take Sydney Starr out of this season, we wouldn't have even got the last 6 episodes. And I don't care what nobody says. Sydney Starr is not just booking plane tickets to all these different cities to show up and be on camera on the Zeus network. They're paying this girl, or they're asking this girl to come here. And actually, I figured out what happened, my theory of what happened, which we'll get more into that. Natalie says, let Sydney in and give her Scotty's check since she's not going to make it. And I'm like, huh? Did y'all catch that? Natalie says that at one point. She says, let her in, because security wouldn't let Sydney in at first. And Natalie says, let her in and give her Scotty's check since she's not going to make it. And I'm like, what do you mean? We just saw Scotty in the dressing room. So I'm confused. And we see her on stage later. So I just didn't understand what she meant by that. Or maybe I misheard things. Y'all let me know in the comments. Natalie comes outside where Sydney is, and she starts doing what Natalie does. What's up, bitch? What's up? What's up? Come, she's screaming. Security's holding her back, and there's a girl sitting in the alleyway. Did y'all see that girl in the red with the braids? She was sitting in the alleyway on her phone, and she was just like Natalie's back here acting a fucking fool, and this is the girl. Like, she was like, what the fuck is wrong with this bitch? So... this is what I was talking about. I think I know why Sydney's been showing up so much. So, if you notice, and where is it at? You'll notice how Sydney, she kept saying, Natalie, why do you keep doing this to me? You lie every time. Why do you keep doing this to me? Now, Sydney says that Natalie tells her, show up at this place, come here, you can be a part of this, yada, yada, yada. And she's calling Sydney to show up at these places. This is what I meant when I said Natalie is like ghost producing, even though she is the executive producer. But she's low-key producing on throughout the whole season. And what she was doing, in my opinion, was texting Sydney on, like, let's say they're on the way to Nashville. Hey, Sydney, we're going to be at Club So-and-so this Friday in Nashville. You want to show up? You want to be a part of the Baddies cast? Sydney, of course, being thirsty, is like, oh, yeah, sure. So, she either books her ticket or Natalie books the ticket. I don't know who's paying for the ticket. Sydney shows up, and then Natalie plays dumb. Like, what? Why is this crazy bitch here? That's Natalie producing. But why do y'all keep doing it? Why do y'all keep inviting Sydney there? It's old. It's tired. I get it, like, the first 2 times. maybe even 3. But now it's just like we're caught on to your game. Because what they want the fans to believe is that Sydney is just crazy and just showing up and obsessed and want to be a part of this so bad. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. Sydney is thirsty, but I don't believe she showed up to 4 different cities trying to be on the show. Like, I just don't. So all the girls are finally on the couch after 45 minutes of waiting, of filler, of bullshit, of Natalie screaming. Best dressed, in my opinion, was Jayla. Now, Jayla has not been my favorite this season. She's never been one of my favorite bad girls. But Jayla looked gorgeous from head to toe. It was simple. It was chic. It was pretty. It was like, it was hot. Like, you could have wore that to the reunion. You could have wore that to the club. You could wear that, like, to a concert. It was just, I don't know. I really liked it. And it went, like I said, it went well with her short hair, the look. So they play a clip. They play the beginning clip to, let's look back on how this season went. Bam, they play the clip, and as soon as the clip finishes, Rolly says, look at that pussy. Look at that pussy, talking about Natalie. And Natalie's like, who's the pussy? Who's the pussy? And Natalie gets up and goes right at Rolly, and they go at it. And I don't know when Natalie's going to learn. You ain't going to win against Rolly, Natalie. I'm not saying nobody can beat Rolly's ass. I'm saying Natalie can't. Because we all know Natalie can't fight at all. And Rolly got some licks. Did y'all see that? Rolly got some licks in because I was like, ah. And then we see Slim get up and jump towards Natalie and Rolly. So she jumps in. And then Rock kind of jumps in. So let me tell y'all what. So at the beginning, when I'm first watching this, I literally thought that Rock, Slim, and Rolly were all jumping Natalie. Like, that's what I thought was happening, because in the dressing room, we saw that Rock had all her issues with Natalie, and she was talking, you know, about how she was fake and all this shit. So when I seen Rolly and Slim on Natalie, and then I seen Rock get up, I said, oh shit, these girls are fixing to fuck Natalie up. Like, somebody's finally about to whop Natalie's ass and mop her across the floor. But what we saw was Rock stepping in to try to get on Slim and say, yo, why the fuck are you stepping in and jumping? We already know from watching this season that Rock does not like Slim. And I'm kind of Team Rock in this situation. Like, we may not always like Rock, but for the most part, she's going to be real and tell you how she feels. And I feel like Slim's kind of fake and two-faced and phony from what I've seen from this season. And then Rock had a point. Why the fuck are you jumping in, Slim? Rolly can handle her own. She's fine. You always feel like you have to jump in and do something. Now, look, I get it if Rolly was on the ground getting her ass beat. Yeah, if I see my friend getting their ass beat, I'm going to jump in. But if somebody's got a fair fight going in, fall back. Fall back, Slim. Chill out and fall the fuck back. I respect, though, that Rock jumped in and was like, stop the jumping. Because she didn't have to do that. Rock don't even like Natalie like that, really. So the fact that she stood up for what was right, in my opinion. Like, we're not going to do this whole jumping situation. Chill the fuck out. And we're getting a replay, like I said at the beginning of this video, we're getting a replay of the Joselines Cabaret Season 3 reunion, because these girls can't even get started. They're screaming. They're all over the place. The reunion just started. They just physically started, and they're already going at it, fighting crazy, security jumping everywhere. Like, it's starting with a bang. Like, why couldn't y'all started the reunion like that? And left the whole dressing room shit out of it. Just start the reunion with the host and the girls on the stage, kind of like Housewives does, and just say, bam, welcome to the, you know, don't have them walk out. Don't do all that. My favorite moment, this is really bad, and y'all are probably gonna get mad at me for saying this, but my favorite moment of the reunion, and it was my favorite moment. Can y'all guess before I even say it? Just guess. You guessed right. Okay, my favorite moment was when Rolly just out of nowhere slapped the shit out of Scotty. I shouldn't be laughing, but I was not expecting it. Hell, Scotty wasn't expecting it. I don't even think Rolly was expecting it to do it. But at one point, Rolly was sitting there going off on Natalie. Scotty's just standing right here. And out of nowhere, Rolly just turns and smacks the fuck out of Scotty. And I'm like, oh. I rewound it like 4 fucking times. I could not believe it. And in a way, I felt bad for Scotty. But at the same time, I didn't. Because you want to be Natalie's little cheerleader over here. Bitch, bop, shut the fuck up. Whop, you want to take up for Natalie? Here you go. Bop, bitch, you gonna get your motherfucking head in. Did y'all think that was wrong? Because I kind of feel bad for laughing at it. Let me know in the comments. Was it wrong for Rolly to slap the shit out of Scotty, or did Scotty have it coming? Or was Rolly picking? I don't know. I want to hear from y'all before I give my honest opinion. Trina was looking like, I ain't ever in my life seen some shit like this. Loving Hip Hop Miami ain't got nothing on this motherfucking Baddies shit. Like, Trina looked like she was ready to go. She didn't know what she'd gotten herself into. The reunion ends at that. Like I said, most of the episode was filler. We didn't even really get any questions from the host to the girls at all because they were just too busy fighting. So hopefully part 2 and 3 will show more. Maybe hopefully we'll get more. And I really hope that things don't end like they ended on the Joselines Cabaret reunion, where we got no resolution, we got no questions answered, and it was just a bunch of screaming and yelling. Again, please let me know what you think of this episode. Join the conversation below and chime in. What did you think about the reunion thus far? Do you think that Rock was in the right for jumping in and telling Slim to stop trying to jump Natalie when it came to the whole Natalie and Rolly situation? Whose side are you on, Slim or Rock, when it comes to that? Also, do you feel like it was wrong for Rolly to slap the fuck out of Scotty? Or was Rolly just doing what Rolly should have done? Shut her up. I want to hear from you. Are you team Scotty or are you team Rolly? Look, I'll see you back next week here for the Baddies part 2 of the reunion. Make sure you share this video. Make sure you like, subscribe, do all the things. We'll see you next time on Damien After Dark. See ya.